All right, looks like this game is in progress here. This is a well-developed game. In fact, it looks like this game is close to over at this point already. We see over on Havoc's side of the field, he's got an Azure Fate Sorceress with the Spell Shield and the Flight. Also with an Eldritch Dreamer that has the card draw, and looks like it's also been inspired with the Spell Shield and Flight. Over on Kindmime's side of the field, he has the Howling Brave, the Wrathwood Master Moss, the Root Father, the Wrathwood Colossus, and another Howling Brave. Looking like Havoc is in some pretty big trouble right here. Havoc is attacking in the air for 5. Possibly Havoc can chain some Masteries of Time here.
Yeah, interesting that they started this match a little early.
Yep.
Yeah.
Havoc does have the Mastery of Time, so it looks like he's going to go ahead and take another turn.
Yeah, which really just is, it was really basically everything he wants out of his deck, right? Like, is to just draw those extra turns out.
Yep. Dreamer plus Mastery of Time is pretty much where he wants to be.
Even then, staring down probably the most imposing looking board that Wild has to offer, a Wrathwood Monster Moss, an Arborean Root Father, and an alternate Wrathwood Colossus standing next to each other. Power of the Wrathwood. So here comes another swing. This will just dent the health pool of Kindmime here, but it almost certainly signified, yeah, another Mastery of Time. Those Mastery of Times getting voided here. Yeah, yesterday is not an out here, Amethyst Kid. The Sapphire actually cannot deal very well with a completed Root Father. They don't have troops big enough to deal with it naturally, and furthermore, they have a hard time getting that that health to stop. So another Mastery here would be devastating for Kindmime, but Havoc might have just been the end of it.
Yeah, Havoc's only got the
Playing that Minario Sensei to draw another one. He only has the 3 main.
Yeah, in his main deck here. I'm looking to see if he has something like a Grok, but it doesn't look like Havoc has any Groks, at least in his main deck here. So I'm not sure if he has any outs. Like, even if he somehow had a way to, I don't know, bounce plus counter one of the large Root Fathers or Colossus or something, he still has to be able to deal with the other one.
Yeah. The only thing saving Havoc here is going to be the fact that he can survive this one turn barely. But does not have an answer to the Arborean Root Father in hand, which these Howling Braves will get him up to. Havoc says good game. The chat going on, Jesus. So was this the end of game 1? Do we know if this was the end of game 1?
I don't know for sure, but I think it's game 1.
Havoc holding 3 counter magics. Oh, I'm sure he's a really chill and nice. Well, really chill. That's kind of reserved for. No, I'm sure he's a very kind guy. I was expecting somebody in a mime costume. Is that so wrong of me to expect somebody from a mime costume? Oh, Cyrus has no idea who to challenge. Could we put the bracket up here?
What's up?
Yeah, it's up. Okay. We are gonna pull Infamous Neo into this call here. He said he wanted to be part of this. He also said we sound solemn, JJ. Suppose he isn't dealing with the stuff that we are in the background, but that's fine. So I'm going to invite him into the. Well, actually, you can invite him into the call because you're the host, Technophy. I don't know how we sound solemn. I was hecka hyped for Cyrus's match. I was just a little confused walking into the middle of that one. That's all. That's all.
Solemn.
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 It's not even how you spell solemn. You speak the
It is
Queen's
in
English. You should
it
know
is in
better.
Yu-Gi-Oh, my friend.
It's a different card game. Don't break. We can't talk about that. It's against the terms of service now.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's all right. I didn't sign it. We're good.
Well,
Come on,
hello, and a huge shout out to Infamous Neo. One of the 4-3 players in yesterday's tournament dropped out in the last round because he doesn't have the balls to finish an event. How are you feeling about the top 8 so far?
This is a cool top 8, man. I like this top 8. I'm so
Is like legitimately?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've got like Cyrus in I think his first top 8, right? Since
Yep.
starting the game, first major top 8. We've got Guerre also, I believe, first top 8 since these major events started, and also we've got a couple of fairly well-known names in here. Havoc,
well, you know,
Saiju,
it's
Kindmime.
a very stacked as far as names people should recognize here. Top 8, but in addition to that, it must be nice for you to see Guerre here after the first feature match we had yesterday. He took you down barely in your best of 3.
It's true. I mean, the first game was a wash on his part. I just destroyed him, and then that Nature Reigns, that Nature Reigns. But yeah, he took me out. I'm glad to see him go. I'm glad to see the person who took me out in the first round make use of that and go on to do great things. Obviously, we're on the same team, so as long as one of us gets in there, job done, really.
Yeah, you always gotta feel good when teammates make it to the top 8.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of teammates making the top 8, I think at least 3 of them here: Kindmime, Cyrus, and Seiju. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if that's all 3 of them, but they have consistently made good appearances here at the Cup of Fate event, and they are going to be happy they did that, especially considering what we have to talk about at the end of the stream. But we're just waiting for Seiju to get into Game 2 here. Did we have any confirmation that it was actually Game 2 that they're going into? Because clearly they started their match just a little bit early here. Did you get to watch the Cyrus versus Seiju match, Paul?
I literally just got back into the house and
You
loaded up the stream.
It was good enough of a match. It was probably the best match we've ever featured. That you should go back and find it in the VODs later. It's very rare that I would tell you to go and watch more Hex than you already do.
Yeah.
But that's a case where you might want to.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I'll probably check them all out. Well, all the ones I can, at least.
Yeah, they're all going to be going up on YouTube this time. The Rouge Burn deck. I know Hacky didn't say Rouge, but I wanted to say Rouge that time. How did he know we were solemn? He logged in. We were kind of solemn at the start of Kindmime and Havoc's match here because we joined into the middle of it and it was difficult to commentate because the match was clearly over at that point. We were like, why did he attack? Dr. Citadel team didn't top 8. That's true. The Diamond Ruby Citadel deck did not meet the meta that it expected to at this event. Havoc choosing to play here, which, I mean, makes a lot of sense. This is what we strongly believe to be Game 2 of the semifinals between Kindmime and Havoc. And let's see how this gets underway. Obviously, Big Troops versus Control.
Are you watching on the stream?
Yes, I'll link you. We are watching specifically Kindmime's stream, and here you go. We would not watch and commentate on like our restream of the stream because that would be terrible.
Gotcha.
This is the second match, Seiju. So this isn't the finals, if that's what you're asking. But I don't know. I think it's game 2, but it's possible it's game 3. Denying the Citadel kill on a feature match with Inferno. Yeah, that was pretty rude of you, Hacky. You did it with class, though.
This is the first event where I've like sat down and played properly, and God, I've learned some things that I hate this time around.
About Constructed?
Just like things that things I'd previously seen on paper and thought, it's pretty powerful, but seeing it in action is another thing entirely. Like Root Father, Master Moss, Boulder Toss especially. Like I've seen that in limited, but
I actually think it's weaker in limited. I think it's considerably weaker in limited.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's like it feels like you're getting like survival used on you, but their troop doesn't die. It's such a beating.
Yeah, it's like, and then sometimes they just use it to kill you. So both players actually playing their earliest drops that I think they want to. Kindmime leading off with the Howling Brave, Havoc leading off with the Cerulean Mirror Knight, widely considered to be one of the strongest cards in the entire game at a mere rare and 2-drop. This turn, Kindmime, Shard of Savagery, chooses Ruby as he would. We do have the card blocker up, I'm sure, so just to keep Paul in line with this, even though we can see Kindmime's hand on his stream, we'll try our best not to discuss that. Also to remind myself, because I almost forgot. So, Havoc getting to keep a Cerulean Mirror Knight on the board against a Ruby player, that's pretty much the dream. Not to overuse the term, but Cerulean Mirror Knight never gets to survive if the opponent has a burn or a crackling bolt in hand. But it has. I've
seen a lot of Meeks this tournament as well.
Probably a lot more Meeks than you ever wanted to see.
Just to fight this card, man. Like, if this card stays there for even until turn 4, it's bad news for the opponent. That's for sure.
Yeah, as it should be. Meek was pretty popular this tournament.
Yeah, and now Buccaneer hitting the board from Havoc, who I believe mulliganed earlier. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we should have commentated on that. Like Havoc is behind a couple of cards here. He's played 3 shards, 2 troops, and has 3 in hand. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's got to be behind cards. He's only got 52 cards. Wait, he has 52 cards in his deck. And has played 8 cards, like I said. Yes, of course. That makes perfect sense and is how math works.
That is true. Yeah. He could be running more, I guess.
Yeah, could be running more. For a second I thought he was, but then I realized I'm bad at math.
The tactical extra 1 card that is very popular.
The 61st card.
Okay, so it might be difficult to notice because Kindmime's stream cuts out a little bit at the bottom, but Kindmime is actually sitting on 3 resources here, not 4 like you would immediately assume because he has the 4 thresholds. The Howling Brave actually did get him the extra threshold earlier. Mm-hmm. So he would not be able to it looks like this is the turn that you would expect something big out of him. Like this is the turn you're like a 4 resource Master Moss, for example, is usually what you assume. Not normally what happens, but Scrap Tack Brawler comes down, a 2/2 for 3 that gains.
He's tunneling that one actually. Yeah, he's going for the explosive play later.
Well, I hope Havoc isn't listening. He is going for the explosive play. I think Havoc can safely assume that was what was tunneled anyway. It's probably the only tunneling card on the list actually. So maybe I'm not a total dink, but
you're not a total dink.
I had just assumed it was a totally different play. Whoops. So swinging in here. Havoc going for that early health pool damage. Not a huge deal, though, like we saw last time. A big life gain swing, always possible with the Ruby Wild style of deck.
It kind of has several options here, whether he wants to develop the board or if he wants to pay forward onto future turns. Looks like he's gonna go develop his resources a little more here.
Yeah. Also choosing, like, again, we've seen a lot of we saw a lot of running deer come into the tournament. Running deer being the wild champion of choice when Gorefeast is popular in the meta. Just that 5 extra health, very often changing the math on when a swing matters, and even in other matchups allows you an extra. It basically makes up for the first turn or two that you don't have troops on board, which can often be the case with these mid-range style heavy troop decks, because it's just you're not providing an early game. Howling Braves aren't an early game. Howling Braves don't even stop a Cerulean Mirror Knight, a troop that should be very fragile. Hacky's deck
It's
was
quite
really
fragile.
Fun. Yeah, it is quite fragile, but you would almost expect it to have one defense. It likely has two, kind of as a flavor thing, because it is a Mirror Knight. It is basically dressed in Knight's armor with a giant shield. If it only had one defense, that would be odd. Havoc playing that turn 4 Azurfate Sorceress, the alternate art, Small Child, Spell Shield, and Flight. Very tame. Very tame gems. But it will inspire any of his 4 and higher drop troops, of which he is running plenty, with Spell Shield and Flight. Spell Shield and Flight, of course, being very powerful at both getting over the board and providing an answer to just about anything.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty important in this matchup specifically, because you don't have the Falconer like you would in Ruby Sapphire. You've got to make sure that once you've got those few little early pokes in, like, you can continue to get damage over the top, because that's really the only way you're gonna beat a wild deck. You can't beat it on the ground. That's never gonna happen. Like, you have to go over the top.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Crazy Squirrel Titan comes down. It doesn't care about being shown its sin in the mirror of the Cerulean Mirror Knight. It just breathes a load of fire onto it. And this isn't Legend of Zelda. That fire does not get reflected. Link gets swallowed up. And next turn could...
I just have to say something TOS.
No, I don't care. It's not a third-party trading card game. We can discuss whatever we want. That Reese the Crustcrawler played hard from hand, wasn't tunneled earlier, might have been top deck just now, gets Spell Shield and Flight, and will start generating those worker bots. As a 4/4 body for 5, I think people often forget that Reese is not bad here. Especially with Spell Shield and Flight. Does mean Kindmime needs something.
Yeah, the one thing... This has got to mean Havoc doesn't have any counters, because you know that the scrap tech's coming up. I mean, he's seen the list. He knows. Yeah.
Now, both players, you can see Kindmime just happy that he's going to be playing a big eye. I'm going to spoil this for you all. The Eye of Creation already in hand. It's coming out. Havoc, 0 resources, no counter or verdict available. Scrap Tech Brawler comes onto the board. That's what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? 10? Is this for... 11.
I think it's 7 plus 3. Yeah. So it's for 7.
Yeah, okay.
The Brave got replayed.
Yeah. That's right. So the Eye of Creation coming out, 7 cards off the top of Kindmime's deck. All of those troops will be entering play. That includes a Filcape, an Arborean Rootfather, a Filcape, and sadly, it doesn't play those 2 other Eye of Creations for free, because that would just be... that would be pretty good. Now, that was pretty good, and the reversion will certainly slow down Reese. And all of the troops inspired further by the Azurfate. Also, that Cerulean Mirror Knight inspire even on the Azurfate and the Buccaneer about to go away. So... Filcape, one of the best cards Kindmime could have hoped to have seen here. Probably not the number 1. Now, he's choosing to swing here. Obviously, he's got a lot of damage on board, and he should be, but this also means that the Buccaneer should throw itself in front of something here to make advantage of that Cerulean Mirror Knight draw. I'm not sure if Havoc's going to think about that here. But I'm not sure Havoc has an answer to this board.
He could have brought in Grolks, but even if he did, that just buys him a turn. He would need to chain something like Grolks into masteries, or conversely, just have a bunch of masteries. But even that, he still is only going to get in for 2 a turn on this board. Because as you've already mentioned, the Filk Apes are going to revert that Reese here momentarily. Kindmime pointing out the Buccaneer that's about to be reverted.
Yeah. Havoc choosing to throw away his worker bots, which is fine. He is going to have plenty of those.
That was pretty rough. I mean, a little bit of a punt there. It's only 1 extra card, I guess, but that can make a difference, really.
Yeah, it could have been a Grolk. Kindmime pointing it out. I'm not sure you. I mean, it's not exactly the wrong thing. They've been having friendly banter back here and forth. So, I mean,
oh man, it's totally the right thing to point out a mistake your opponent's made. Like, granted, he has the game in the bag right now, but you know, it's not like it's against the rules or anything. And if you can get slightly under their skin, not necessarily.
I don't think that's what Kindmime's trying to do. But yeah.
Oh no! Of course not. But
I mean, if you can. So for all the people that infamous Neo talked to during his matches yesterday, now you know.
Now you know.
Well, why does this? Oh, this guy keeps pointing out my mistakes. What a gentleman! I mean, he's British. That must mean he's kind. No, that's not how this works. Yeah, Havoc putting down that Master Moss. That kind of helps the board. There's nothing. I cannot think of anything that would save this. Arborian Rootfather, however, showing one of its huge flaws, doesn't have Crush. And there's no way to really give it Crush effectively. Only because it was Havoc. All right, well, Kindmime's got the right idea then. Kindmime's on a 5-minute delay. We could have showed his hand. Dang it. I didn't even read that at the top. It's right at the top of the stream.
Yep.
He's already talking. And
do you think you would have attacked with the Azure Fate on the last turn? I mean, are you?
I think you have to attack with the Azure Fate on the last turn. Yeah, Phil Cape can keep the Master Mouse alive. That's true. It's not really enough. It's not really enough here. It's such a brutal swing coming in.
Some banter between the players here.
Yeah.
Rootfather says he wants to get in.
Just the Rootfather. Easy chump block with the Master Moss here. The Master Moss will turn into the Mossling and then transform back into the Master Moss with the Filcade transformation here. So,
well, he could just chump block if he wanted to with just the 1/1, but instead he's just going to go ahead and go for the trade here.
Yeah, not a bad idea either. I mean, you would not chump block with the Worker Bot here, though. That's what I'm saying, right? Like you would just chump block with the Master Moss because it's going to turn back into the Master Moss itself anyway. Like,
that's true. That's true. No, you're right.
Yeah. So why would you give up your 1/1 if you weren't going to trade? So Kindmime develops the board, and by develops the board, I mean kind of just spits on it some more. He already has a very impressive set of things on the board. What he really needs now is one more Crazed Squirrel Titan and one more Master Moss, and then he has like a full set of duplicates, right?
And that Phil Cape is putting in some serious work here.
Yeah, keeping those spell shielded Azure Fate flyers out of the board. Now, 4 of those attackers, while the board does look very good, 4 of those attackers are not things that Havoc necessarily has to worry about. So yeah, maybe he can start swinging with the Azure Fate, trying to put that little bit of extra damage in. But it's really difficult to say because you have to do the alpha swing calculation here, right? had the Arborean Rootfather stayed on the board, it would have been a lot better for Kindmime here.
Mm-hmm. The right thing from Reese here could kind of change things. Like one of those big.
Reese can't create anything but a worker bot.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
hardcast.
he hardcast that one.
Not
Okay,
not only did he play it from the hand, but even if it had surfaced, Phil Cape would remove that ability.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even consider that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Havoc's out here is a Grolk. And a Grolk actually, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. It wouldn't kill Kindmime, but it would be damn close. So it looks like
you'd
Havoc
get 2 swings out of Grolk without having any opposition.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Currently you would for sure. It's hard to say if...
Because even though Phil Cape reverts, it still happens at the end of turn, so they still don't ready themselves until the same turn.
Yeah. Well, now that I think about it, maybe it would have been in Kindmime's. Jeez.
Did you see the draw?
Yeah, I saw the draw. Maybe it would have been in Kindmime's favor to hold on to that Howling Brave and the other Scrap Tech I believe he played, just purely to hold on to the ability to recover from a Grolk. Noble Roostosaur saying something in chat. There's a cool guy. Thank you for all the attention that the Nobles pointed to us yesterday, helping direct people our way, even when the big sealed tournament was happening. Well, trying to happen. So here comes that Arborean. Oh yeah, I mean, Arborean.
I mean, it got pretty far, so I hear.
Yeah, 30 people got to play.
It's 30 more than before.
That's 30 more than before.
Progress.
Yeah, it didn't fire at 447, but it almost did. It was very close.
Some more friendly banter between these players.
Wow, we're going to have to issue Havoc a bad manners warning. Havoc, in your next match, if you could not smack... Oh, wait, you're out. That's just a joke, because he dropped the A-bomb there. I'm sure he'll take it in good faith. If he doesn't, he can come to me and I will apologize. Look at Noble Roostosaur talking about the top 8 being viewed right now. I just go back and check game chat right now. So... let's swap on over. This match very clearly going to be done with now, I think.
Yeah.
If Cyrus's game is still going, or if they are finished yet, the Gore Feast versus Anti-Gore Feast, the biggest...
How many Grolks were there in that?
In Havoc's deck?
Yeah.
I believe it was 2.
2?
Two in his reserves. Yeah, two Grolks. The only Grolks in the top 8, actually.
That's crazy.
So,
Is there more Sapphire in the top 8?
Yes. There's another Bertram deck, actually.
That's also crazy. I feel like
did you see Kaldheim's deck in the top 8? 4x Construct Foreman, 4x Gearsmith. That's the first 2 cards on the list. Are you ready for the rest? There's not a single card in there that costs more than 2. War Machinists, Tech Geniuses, Electroids, Mimeobots, Terrorbots, Chargebots, Mega Hulk, Hornet Bots, War Hulks, Geodes, Ruby Shards, and Sapphire Shards. And the Sapphire Shards and the Ruby Shards only being run because he had to. I'm sure he'd avoided them if he could have.
Well, you don't need Shards to win. We know that.
Yeah. That's true.